This is Fuzzy Tutorials, and I'm Fuzzy D. Today I'm going to be showing you some stuff with OBS. I'm going to show you how to do multi-track recording. Let's get started. There's a few areas that you have to go and set up before you can do true multi-track recording. And remember that you have to have an actual video editing program or audio editing program that can handle multiple tracks, because it's not going to combine them into all one track, of course. That's why we're doing multi-track, so that we can control them each separately in post-production. So the first area we want to look at is our sources. So here I've set up my desktop and my fancier microphone here, the one you are seeing on camera. This is the Fine, and I've plugged in my lapel mic as well. Now this is our desktop video source. We've got my lapel mic. It doesn't really matter the order that these are in. The only time the order they're in really matters is visually. If you've got like multiple video sources or photographs, that kind of thing, then they'll need to be in the right order for everything to show up on the layers that you want. But with audio, it doesn't really matter. So we've got our two main audio sources plus our desktop, which will also give us our desktop audio. So then we've got our audio mixer section here. Now you notice there's a few of them in there. So we've got our desktop audio coming in here as well. You can see it's turned on. Now I've got the levels turned down, but we can adjust that later in post-production if we want. And you'll see that we've got our Fine and our lapel mic coming in as well. And the rest are all turned off. So to decide what tracks are going to go where, we're going to right click on this and choose Advanced Audio Properties. So here you see the ones that we've got turned on here right now. So here's our desktop audio, and then on the right here we've got these tracks listed, and same thing with all the other ones. So it doesn't really matter what order these are in. We're going to pick which one goes in what order here. Now the way these boxes are labeled can be a little confusing, but the number that represents the track is on the right side of the box instead of the left. Not sure why they did it that way, but that's the way they did it. So in my case, I've got the desktop audio coming in as track 2, and then my Fine is actually going to come in as track 1. There's a couple of reasons for that, but that's beyond the scope of this tutorial. And then the lapel mic is going to come in on track 3. Now the reason I've done that one as track 3 because I don't normally use it anymore. So once you've got those set and you've fine-tuned your audio levels, so you want to make sure that your standard audio on your microphones is coming in the yellow here somewhere, unless you talk really super loud. You can do it lower than that and then adjust it in post-production, but it just seems to work better. And if your mic happens to have some noise floor, then it's better to have it coming in the middle of this orange area as much as possible. Once we've got that done, then we need to go into settings over here. And we're going to go to audio. So we've got our desktop audio set up, and then we've got our auxiliary audios here. So this is where you would set up your microphones. So we've got these set in the order that we want to use them, and you'll see that if you look down on this list here, lower down, you'll see these different labels, but we can label them anything we want by what we did over here in sources. So we'll just make sure that those are kind of set up right. Now if we go back to output and then go to recording. Now because I'm actually recording, I can't change these, but you see right here where it says audio track, this is where you turn on the different audio tracks so that you get your multi-track recording. So we've got our track 1, 2, and 3 turned on, and then under audio you can set up some labels here. So I've labeled them according to the tracks that they're on. So we've got our 5-fine mic. Now you're not picking this from a drop down. You can just label it whatever you want. The only thing you're picking from a drop down is your actual audio bit rate. And for the purposes of this, 144 is more than enough. I've seen some testing done with audio, and the human ear can't tell the difference anything above this. And then of course we've got our desktop audio in here, and then here we've got our lapel mic set up here. So once you've got all of these set up, then you can OK them and you'll be good for multi-track recording. I'd have to stop this recording to be able to bring it into a video editor. But I personally use DaVinci Resolve Studio, but you can get the DaVinci Resolve free version, which will handle the multi-track stuff just fine. So I'll probably do another tutorial later on doing the multi-track stuff as far as post-production goes. Now I've actually got a really good audio processing video done in DaVinci Resolve that you can check out on my channel. I'll link that up here. I know I said earlier at the beginning I wasn't going to show you how to actually edit the multi-track stuff, but I changed my mind. I thought, this isn't really going to be complete if I don't show you how to actually work with it, at least for the basics. So we've got a new project set up. So I'm going to grab the footage that we took already, that we just finished recording, and we're going to bring that in. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to generate proxy media. I'll bring you back when that part is done. Our proxy media is generated. So now I'm going to pull our first recording out from OBS. Now you'll notice that we've got 3 audio tracks here. I'm just going to do a little adjustment here, so I'm going to blow this up a bit. So this is our raw footage that I've finished doing my tweaking so that it looks more like normal 1080p. I've got an ultra wide, but most people aren't set up to view it as ultra wide, so I just always produce these in 1080p, actually 1440p. So you'll see we've got our 3 different tracks here. Now we should have had some music coming through on our desktop, and I'm not sure if it did or not, so I'm just going to mute these other tracks real quick. Sometimes it doesn't always show up if it's recorded at a really low level. So we're just going to play it real quick. This is Fuzzy Tutorials, and I'm Fuzzy D. Today, so I'll mute one track and then the other. So what you just heard there was the lapel mic. Now that I've had it for a little bit. And that was the 5-fine. I've already gone ahead and done the comparison part, which you'll already have viewed. So now we're just kind of replaying some of that stuff, but in no particular order. It's not matching what I'm saying on the screen or anything. I'm just kind of showing you the basics of how we're dealing with this multi-track stuff. So from this point, it's pretty straightforward. If I want to do some individual processing of this, I can actually go into Fairlight, and we'll just expand things a little bit. So I'm just using the Shift key as I scroll my mouse wheel to expand that. And then Shift Z will zoom out to the whole thing. And you'll notice we've got these different sliders here, these vertical sliders. If you're not seeing these here, just go up here to the right and click on Mixer. So now we can actually adjust all of these tracks separately. What I'm going to do is just mute the lapel mic here. I'll just mute that whole track. And actually, let me go back to the edit page here real quick. Since our desktop track has nothing on it, it for some reason didn't record. So if I hold the Alt key down when I click it, it separates it out from the rest. Then I can just hit the backspace key and remove it. And then I can do the same thing here. I can just hold the Alt key down, click that, and then I can move it up to my second dialog track. Now what you're not seeing is I also have my iPhone done separately. So I don't use the audio from the iPhone, but when I first bring it in, it exists as well. So typically what I'll do, just so you can see the workflow that I use, is I'll bring in my iPhone footage. And of course the audio isn't going to be lined up because I start one ahead of the other one. Now there is a feature in DaVinci Resolve, so if I actually right click on this other one, it'll select those. And I can go up here, I can go auto align clips based on waveform. The problem is recently on this newest update, I'm working with a beta version, and on the newest update it's not working. It just won't find it. Goes through the motions, but it doesn't work, so I'm having to line it up manually. And that's actually not as hard as it sounds. If I hold my Alt key down and scroll my wheel, this will zoom in on the timeline. Then I can grab that track and I can pull it over and until I get a kind of a match here. So you see I'm just lining it up like so, and I can move my playhead. And once I get it lined up, then we're golden. But what I can do if it's not lined up, on the keyboard you'll see you've got the period or the comma, and above those is the little greater than and less than signs. If you use those, you can shift the track one frame at a time. So if I just hit this one, you can see it just shifts one frame. So you can use that to really fine tune it. And then we'll just give it a quick test. Take a listen.
So I'm recording through OBS.
So you get that just very slight, kind of a tiny bit of a reverb in there, but it's so close. So if you turn one track on by itself, everything will still look synced to your movements of your lips. So I do this all the time. So this is how I bring in my kind of that narrator inset, or even if it's full screen, I still do the recording through the computer using OBS with my better microphone, because the sound coming off the iPhone isn't that great. Now once you've got everything lined up, you use your control key, select your other tracks, and we're going to right click and we're going to go link clips. So now whenever one is selected, they all get selected. That way everything will stay lined up as you start removing other tracks. So I would just do a quick test to make sure everything lines up. So, you know, when I'm doing my normal production routine, I'll just mute the other tracks other than the one I really want to keep, and I'll just double check and make sure that the synchronization looks right.
So I'm recording through OBS.
So you can see it looks just fine. So then I would normally do that Alt select for the track I want to get rid of, and then hit my backspace to get rid of it. Don't hit your delete key, because that's a ripple delete and that'll cause you all kinds of issues. So the ripple delete is used in another way. Now if you're just an absolute raw beginner with DaVinci Resolve, I'll link a video up here in the cards that you can go watch, and it's designed specifically for newbies, for rookies. So I think that's really all I wanted to cover in this extra little section here. I just wanted to show you the basics of how to bring it in and what the multi-track stuff looks like and how to deal with it. Now when you actually render the video out, then it's going to combine it all into traditional single track. If you found this video useful, please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you're sure to catch our next video. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate you being here. We'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.